All right.
Okay, so now we're
Sweet.
we cut it for a second.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're just gonna I'm gonna insert the music afterwards. So okay, so I guess now what we'll do is we'll just kind of wrap up in a way the transition that went
Sure.
from
Yeah, we want to hear the whole thing about how the Clue went to the next couple bands, and eventually, you said you were with Head P at the very start.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
touching on that a little bit.
Sure.
so okay.
And then
well,
after we take care of that, we're pretty much just gonna we have some side questions we had written down, and a couple people might want to call in and ask you a couple questions.
Cool.
we do have a couple people that are calling in, and we're gonna we've also got some people who had sent who had asked some questions on the internet.
They said they can't, they're not available to call in or whatever,
Right.
but they're gonna, we're just gonna be like, hey, this so and so wanted to know.
Cool.
So we'll we'll get back into it if you're ready.
I'm good to go. How about you, Sergio?
Yep.
All right.
How does that one end?
Trying to think.
Psychopathic lover, man, move and make you change. Won't you be my lover? You're driving me insane. Whoa, whoa, I want to help you. Can't you see you need perfection and attention? That's why you come to me.
We weren't recording that, were we?
Yeah, we're totally recording
awesome.
this. I'm just trying to remember how it ends. I guess it's not a big deal, but I'm a musician too, so I'm like, it messes with me when I can't remember. So, all right. Awesome.
So what's up?
Not much, dude. Just we got a pretty good reaction from the first episode. I think this one's gonna reel them in a little bit, especially since we didn't. I noticed we didn't sell a couple of things in the first one, but either way, I mean, everybody who is totally into it is getting pretty excited about it. Also, I don't know if you saw this. Darin Minasian messaged me back.
Yeah, he actually sent me he wanted me to friend him today, so I did.
Yeah, he asked if any of the other members were on Facebook, so I figured he would be contacting you.
No,
so what did he say?
Well,
what do you have to say?
When I messaged him, I sent him a professional message, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm aware that your brother-in-law or ex-brother-in-law is Jared, and I know that you post a lot, so you probably have contact with him." I was like, I don't know if you heard, but we created a Facebook page about your 80s band. You may have probably heard that there was some animosity between our page and Jared a couple of years ago, but that's not what we're about right now. It's all about love for the music. And
so he didn't respond, and we thought maybe he wasn't interested or whatever, but then all of a sudden he was like, man, I saw this message you sent me like 3 weeks ago. I didn't even realize you sent it to me. And
it said he saw it on April 20th, and then I had sent him a friend request as well, and then all of a sudden it made it so that you couldn't add him as a friend, and I was like, oh shit, he's pissed at us. So I was like, shit, we're going to have to ask Sergio if he can talk to him. But yeah, out of the blue, he was just like, hey, what's going on? He's like, this is awesome. He was so happy to hear about like everything. And he was kind of curious too, because he says he still talks to Jared and goes to see him every time they're in town. So he obviously has, he still talks to him. But
he said that, they reminisce about the old days, and he was surprised that he was, that he was so against it in the first place.
That's funny. I mean, a lot of stuff went down in Darin's garage, because that's where we used to rehearse. We used to rehearse in Darin's garage. So all kinds of shit went down there.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Awesome. Well, we've only got, I think we've got, like a handful of questions, and we're just we're gonna fire through them, and then we're gonna edit them in, and then it should probably be done, I imagine, within 2 weeks.
Yeah, if not next week, the week after for sure.
And look, man, I found a bunch of photos. I just need to have time to get them to you, because a lot of this stuff, like I have a bunch of slides that I'm going to need to have scanned in.
Oh yeah, you
my
can't
scanner
really
won't,
scan a slide, right?
Scan transparency. So I gotta get those in a way that I can send them to you. But I have a bunch of like contact sheets from some photo shoots that we did for Hotbox, where Jared is looking pretty sexy. And,
Dude, that'd be so cool.
and everybody's wearing, the leather and the spandex and all of that garb. So, so I do have some stuff.
Slammed out to the fucking max.
Yeah.
As Jared would say.
Sweet. Right. Satin fucking suits. Awesome. I guess we'll just
funny.
we don't even need to intro it. We just
No, we are. I mean, we're just plugging it in to the other parts. So.
Yeah. And then Mark also friended me recently from Head PE.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
because he that doesn't surprise me because he commented on the podcast and he was a little bit. Him and Neil started getting into it.
Right. Yeah, Neil really came into the picture way like in Live Urban Sex Drive days. He was involved then.
Yeah.
I saw. Did you send Neil the video from Lust? Because that's online now.
Yeah, or my wife sent it to him because he was like harassing me for it, and I just didn't have time to do it. So she made there's a couple performances that we have on DVD. One in particular, I think the one that Neil has.
The Troubadour.
The Troubadour.
Yeah, 93.
Which was a show that we opened up for the band that Stephen Piercy had after Rat, and it was a pretty good show. But,
yeah.
So I think that's where that came from. But I guess he has it online.
Yeah, he already put it on YouTube. It's awesome.
I know that he has something up there, but I don't know what songs he put up there.
He put the full show.
Yeah, he said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said.
Oh shit. Okay.
He sent us a message through the Clue page, and he was like, here's the full concert, and it was an hour long, and he's like, there's even tracks that aren't on YouTube. And then, give me 1 second. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, he said there's tracks that aren't even on YouTube that are on the performance, and then he sent me an enhanced audio of it all. So.
What's with that
cool.
crackling?
I'll have to check it out. Well, I've seen the DVD, obviously, but
right.
I posted the whole thing. So,
man,
are you hearing anything on your end there, Sergio? We're kind of staticky.
I'm hearing a little bit of static. You want me to call you back, or?
Yeah, try. Yeah, it sounds like someone's like unzipping and zipping up their pants.
It's not me, man.
It's not me, man.
All right, let me call back and see if it clears up.
Okay. Thanks, man.
All right, cool.
Oh, it's totally on his end. Or is it?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. If he hung up, I'm still hearing it.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. Bad.
Oh, because the line was still on.
Oh.
The line just cut out.
Oh, so that's from, is it from this or from his end?
I think it's from that line.
Uh-oh. Maybe have him call the other one?
Yeah.
Up there.
Okay. Do you want to start it off? Or?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, go for it.
So, wait, you guys want to give me a heads up on the questions, just so I can think about them, or just roll with it?
Why not, right? I wanted to ask you what your favorite show that you guys played was and what your favorite concert that you've been to is. We wanted to get sort of a timeline for when everything, like, when the Clue started, when it ended. Wanted to ask your thoughts, since you knew Jared pretty well back then, your thoughts on why he might be so against it now.
Right.
What the largest crowd you guys ever played in front of was. I know you mentioned you played festivals and whatever. That
right.
I'm sure you had something there.
Right.
Any, now that you've had more time to think about it, if there's any more crazy stories you could you have for us. I wanted to ask if you guys had like a trademark, something that everyone would recognize you by. I wanted to ask about if drug use ever caused any problems for anybody or problems between band members.
Right.
What did you have, Franchise? You had a few good ones.
Yeah, I had. Do you think it's easier as a band to get big now or back in the 80s? If you think the age of social media has made it better for musicians, or do you feel that the heart and soul of like getting your music heard's kind of been tarnished with it?
Right.
What was?
Okay.
I wanted to ask what the inspiration was for Lady DJ, and if there's any material that you wrote with the band and didn't record that you still had written or anything.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Cool.
basically it. So just a small handful of questions, and we'll hammer through them, and we'll be all set.
We appreciate you. You've been great.
Yeah, we're gonna be our next podcast is in a couple of weeks with Rudy Hill, the rude boy from Psychopathic Records. He's been best friends with Jay and Two Dope from ICP for fucking like childhood.
Since they were kids.
Cool.
And then after that is when Kevin is gonna be on the show.
Nice.
So he said he's already in. I told him we've got like 2 podcasts ahead of you. So I was like, we'll get a hold of you when you're ready. And he's like, cool. He's like, I'm good to go. And Darin even said he's in for a podcast too. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I can't
wait to
wait to
you know
get
what?
everybody's
Kevin probably
stories.
has some stories because I think he lived with Jared for a while.
Oh man.
So if anybody has any crazy stories, I think Kevin.
this is gonna be like the comedy hour with Kevin Comstock. Like, Kevin, do your thing. You got the mic, bro.
I want to hear more about this
we-
ice sledding
we live
incident
together,
too.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like we found out this girl. We have this the We Are the Clue page that Charles made.
Started, yeah.
This girl posted a video. ICP, when they do the Gathering of the Juggalos, they release an infomercial talking about all the acts that are going to be on, the comedians, all the
all
what's
the events,
happening.
all the contests,
It was-
all the craziness. It's
Right.
4 days of 24-hour events and stuff. So.
Yeah, they're supposed to drop it today, but they pushed it back to tomorrow till noon. But she saw Head PE the other night, and she asked Jared. She had the camera running, the video, and she was like, "How excited are you to play the Gathering?" And he's like, "Well, we usually do play the Gathering, but we're on the main stage this year."
Yeah, they're always on second stage at like 4 a.m.
Right.
And he was like, "It's really cool that we're not going to be stuck on some stage out in the middle of the woods at 5 o'clock in the morning."
Right.
So, but
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool to see them there again, and obviously, everyone knows what happened by now 2 years ago when they were there last time, and it's a completely different situation.
That's
now.
actually why they weren't invited last year. I talked to Violent J's brother, goes by Jump Steady. He kind of is the booker. He books everything. He sets everything up. I talked to him last year. We were they had this tournament of a board game that he came up with, and I was playing in. And I talked to him for like a half hour about about the clue and kind of about MP, and I was like, is that the reason they're not here this year? And he was like, yeah, actually, I thought, maybe we shouldn't invite them this year because of, how he was unprofessional. But he was like, I do plan on inviting them next year.
Right.
So.
Well, cool. That sounds good. You see, he still has an audience, man. So that's all.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Oh,
matters.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, hey, man, I don't know if you got to get going here. We want to wish you and your family the best and everything, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate everything that you've helped us with, and I really look forward to if you can get us some of those pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely make an effort this week to get some stuff to you.
That would be really cool, so I can put it into the podcast.
Yeah, any audio whenever you get around to it. Like I said, we've got tons of time. I think what we have. Yeah, we have the Broken Hearts. We've got that saved onto the computer. So.
Yeah, there's still a few more. There's still a few more Clue songs that are available. So
that is awesome.
I'm really excited to hear
I'll make
those.
those available as well.
We're having our buddy touch up the Broken Hearts, and he remastered a lot of those Clue tracks and made them sound a little better too. So I'm really hoping he can do something with that Broken
cool.
Hearts, because that one's pretty poor quality.
We're gonna. Because I wanted to touch base with you.
Oh yeah, we did have a couple questions that are not related to the podcast.
Yeah. Sure. So I definitely want to get. I was gonna make a CD for the Clue, and I wanted to get like a professional kind of. I wanted to get an insert for the CD and like a a backdrop. One of our Clue MIDI members is actually going to make it. She's going to make the inside cover. It's just going to be a one fold, and the back cover as well. I think we'll wait until we've got all of the music. It only makes sense to kind of to get that going, but we're definitely going to make some samplers for the gathering.
Yeah, stuff we can hand out, be like, check it out.
So, yeah, so, I mean, just something for you to think about because I have no problem throwing in for supply. I told Ben I got a bunch of those blank CDs that look like vinyls. They look like records. Like, it's like a vinyl, kind of like, that's what the top of the CD is. It's like a vinyl.
Right.
It's like a blank
transparent,
CD.
right?
No, it's just like, it's like a black vinyl. The CD, and then the bottom,
cool.
yeah, and the underneath is black too, and it's got like a colored label on it. So it's got orange, green, blue, pink, yeah. But there's 5 different colors, so I was probably going to use those to make samples of. But eventually, I'm thinking about getting some like vinyls made, and then like a full CD too. So, but I guess, that's all something that.
Yeah, it's a little bit down the road.
Yeah, down the road. But just an idea to throw it your way, that because definitely if we start talking to more guys and they seem to be interested in, future possibilities of playing a gig or two or something.
Right.
That might be something to think about.
Yeah, look, I mean, if the guys wanted to come together to do something that it all worked out with timing and venue location and all of that, and if Jared was on board or whatever, however it ends up working out, I'd definitely consider it. I think it would be fun to do, and
right.
And that's kind of it'll never happen again.
Right, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Even if Jared isn't on board, I know.
Well,
these songs,
we can work something out.
Yeah, because it would definitely be
there's definitely a documentary there.
Yeah,
yes, that's
it would definitely be a spectacle. And I know guys who do that for. Some of my buddies do that for a living. I mean, they're just phenomenal video editors, and I mean that's just what they do. So
sure.
Having somebody to record that footage, wouldn't be an issue. But that that's stuff to just think about down the line if it starts to come in. And I wanted to send you some of my the audio of me singing with a couple of different bands I was with.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. That'd be cool.
So that way you're not just walking into a freaking like, oh, this guy sucks. He told me he could sing. This guy blows.
So we for a long time we've been talking about kind of coming up with a logo or something for the Clue.
Right.
But we can never agree on anything, and it's really tough. If you have any ideas for that, send them our way, because I know, you obviously have more of a touch, you're more in touch with what the Clue was than any of us are, because we weren't there.
Yeah, I'll send you guys something that some stuff to use. Sure.
That's cool. I appreciate that, because we've always wanted to have a logo, and it's just like we don't know what to make it.
Right. Right. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll work something up and I'll send it your way.
That's awesome.
Sweet, man.
All right.
Kick ass, dude. All right. Well, dude, great talking to you as well. We're gonna edit this bad boy up, and then hopefully we'll have it out soon.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah,
you're the best.
Of course. So we'll hopefully talk in the near future, and can't wait to hear it.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
We'll be talking to you soon, and we'll obviously we're gonna keep in touch about everything. And
sure.
I mean, even if, because Kevin's out there too, even during Kevin's podcast, if you want to call in,
that would be really cool.
we could just
let me know, man. I'll call in.
Cool.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Sweet, dude. All right, well, you
All
have
right,
yourself
man.
a good
Guys,
evening.
Take care.
Yeah, you too, man.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Later, man.
Later. So back to it. What stands out to you as one that you've been to that you were just like, man, that was it. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Concert that I've seen?
Yeah.
Man, let me think.
I know you've been to a lot of them.
All right, so I've seen a lot of reunion shows. I mean, like I said, I've seen everybody from Motley Crue to Chic, and their fans may not like it, but I've seen like Duran Duran as well. when they were out here in at the Hollywood Bowl. I've seen Buddy Guy, which was a really cool show.
Yeah.
B.B. King, I saw one of his last shows.
That's awesome.
Which was really cool. Peter Frampton, and a lot of old school, but also just small clubs too. I'll go check out some like local bands and some of the smaller venues that are out here.
Santana really did that for me. Last year, he came up, and we got front row tickets at the last minute. And he came right up during the final solo in Maria Maria and just shredded right in front of us. And then he let my date play his guitar, and it was it was insane. I have it on. I was recording it, but I was watching him because I'm not gonna watch it on my phone. It's happening right in front of me. I just kind of held it up, and that was probably my most moving experience.
Secretary just touched on something there for me that is driving me absolutely insane for the last 10 years or so at concerts. Everybody is just holding their phone up. You're there.
That's something that has definitely changed, throughout the years. First it was the lighters, which was just, once in a while. Now it's a phone. Nobody can put it down.
Right.
It's like you're there. You have a brain to memorize this. You don't have to hold up your phone so you can watch it later. You're watching it.
But you're never going to watch it.
That too.
Nobody ever watches that shit.
Right.
So it's. I can guarantee you they're going to say, "Oh man, I ran out of space." The first thing that's going to go is that video they shot at the concert.
Yep.
I quoted Louis C.K. Some guy was recording and looking at his phone, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and I was like, "You wouldn't believe the definition you have with your eyes. It's so much better than the definition on your phone."
That's funny. That's pretty funny. But actually, Carlos Santana's son lives around the corner from me.
Oh, whoa.
And
he's a really.
I have yet to have a long conversation with him, and I'll need to make an introduction and see if I can jam with Carlos one day.
Dude,
when we ever over.
Dude, I'm telling you, his son came up and played 3 of his songs because his son is a musician too, and during that show he played a couple of his songs, and it's kind of like a hip hop meets like a Latino. It's got like kind of that cool flavor to it where it's got the Latino vibe, but with like kind of hip hop influenced style lyrics. But it was really good music, and he seemed he was tight. He knew what he was doing. So
cool. Yeah, I'll have to check him out.
Sweet.
Now we learned from you earlier that Jared's striped spandex was out of the blue thing. It wasn't. It wasn't something that he did all the time. Did you guys have any kind of like trademark, anything that people would just recognize, like, oh, that's the Clue?
Like uniforms?
Oh, anything really, just a symbol or something.
No, I think the '80s was a crazy time, and I think that the way that we dressed was pretty tame compared to what other bands were doing at the time. But I don't think there was the crazy ass trench coats and the bright colors and like the parachute pants, and there were certain things that were just part of that time. The outfit that Jared wore, that performance that everybody loves, that was, at least for me, I don't know if any of the other guys in the band knew that he was going to wear that, but that was a surprise. When he came out on stage, I was like, what the? What's going on?
one of our admins back in the days of when we were heavily creating memes about wanting Jared to play the Clue, put the Riddler, Jim Carrey, and he put the question mark on there. And I don't know who's responsible for that, but the question mark.
I believe it was Steve.
Yeah, Steve. The question mark, for some reason, it seems like a fitting symbol. I don't know why. Like there's a bunch of screenshots from it that we've used. So
yeah, I saw one right before I got on the phone with you guys with George Clooney, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Yes. It's just, and that's
it's a never-ending pool of memes, man.
And that's not even us.
That was a fan, yeah.
That's hilarious.
We've been curious about this. Can you kind of give us a timeline for the entire thing? Like, when did the Clue start? When was the famous show? When did it end?
Because
man, let's see here. in phases because, well, that one picture that you showed me of the Clue, that was like Clue version 1 when we were playing top 40 bands and
Okay, and when was that?
Clubs and proms and whatever we could play, backyard parties and things like that.
That was in like '82, wasn't
it? The
it?
actual Clue with the lineup that you're familiar with, that probably started in like 82 maybe, 82,
Really?
83.
Wow.
And ran all the way until.
And then that ran all the way until, I don't know, 86, 87, maybe.
Okay,
because I think Tempe is.
Well,
from
it says
87.
that the show in Tempe says it was 1987. I was wondering about that because I know that Hotbox was already going on in 88.
Well, that Tempe show was pretty close to when the whole transition started happening with Clue and look, what Jared was wearing was kind of like the clue to the fact that the Clue was ending as we knew it, and he started dressing a little more like that every show after that Tempe show, and that's when the whole kind of transition ended up. We ended up going kind of in the more of like the hairband scene.
Okay, so then Hotbox was around from about 88 until when?
Well, actually, the Clue kind of transitioned into a hairband at the early days. So the music was kind of rewritten, and I wish I had some recording. So the music was kind of rewritten to play a little harder, if you can believe it. And we actually played a few shows as Clue with this kind of new persona and new direction. Everybody kind of wearing spandex, and the songs just had more of an edge. And then what happened with that is that it transitioned into Hotbox.
Okay.
So then, when did Hotbox come to an end?
Hotbox came to an end probably in the let's see here, early 90s, maybe, or like early 90s.
Yeah.
And then you guys went straight into Lust, or?
No, there was a hiatus that we went through, Jared and I. Hotbox, Hotbox, at the beginning of Hotbox, we were actually managed by, I think I had mentioned before, we had a manager on board who was a DJ on KNX Radio,
Long Paul. Yep.
So he was involved in Hotbox, started working with us. Hotbox kind of fell apart. There were certain people in the band that were going through certain things, personal, troubles, and Jared and I have spent some time writing music. That's when Times Are Changing came about in some of those sessions that it was just he and I just writing music. And so there was quite a bit of stuff that we wrote that some of it later transitioned into Lust. So some of those early songs that he and I wrote, just the two of us.
Sure.
Nice.
So that's when that happened, and Lust ran until 95.
And then that's when Head PE started. So
yeah. So that's when that ended, and then Head PE took off.
Now you said that when you first got together with Head PE, it was actually unlike their first release, where it was actually really dark and you weren't really enjoying it. After hearing the release of Head PE's first album, is that something that you would have been interested in a style that you would have been interested in playing, or was it just you had gotten to that point where it was just like, nope?
No, I think that I really gotten to the point where I felt I was spent, man, with the music business.
Right.
Everything that had gone down, and especially since I played a big part in trying to get this whole thing together with dealing with a lot of the business side of the band. And so that kind of took a toll on me in the fact that everything that was going down with the bad record deal from Lust, and then the darker music that Head PE was playing, it just wasn't doing anything for me.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's some music that I think on their first release that I definitely like. I think that there was a cool vibe to it. I always thought, though, that Jared, as a vocalist, when he's actually singing and he's not yelling, he's got a good voice.
Yeah.
And there's no need to unless it's part of who he is and it fits the genre, there's no need to just yell.
That's one of the main reasons that I feel that I was talking about the commissioner about this on the way here, that I just don't understand. I guess maybe what you're wearing, you wouldn't really want people to know that's you. But as far as talent, I mean, his vocals were amazing. As far as singing, I mean, I love them. I guess I don't know why he would be ashamed of.
All right, so we get, I think one of the most common questions that we hear from people is, man, they must have been doing a lot of drugs back then. Did that ever cause a problem with the band, or maybe between two band members, or did you guys kind of keep that,
I don't think that we weren't the type of band that it became a problem where we had to pull somebody aside and say, look, man, you got to get it together or that's it.
You were just having fun?
I think that everybody experimented, and there were definitely situations where we played some shows that we shouldn't have been playing. We had no business being on stage. And those are the shows you just don't remember.
Yeah.
But luckily, it just was one of those situations that it didn't break up the band or didn't
cause a rift between anybody.
Back. I think the only thing that ever happened is that we were doing these recordings with Hotbox. This was with and the drummer that was playing with us. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. He was pretty high, and you could tell on the recordings. He was just like hauling ass, and the next day after we listened to the playbacks, it's just like, man, this sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So it does change the dynamic of things at times, and but at the time, at the moment when you're in it, it doesn't feel like it's affecting anything.
Do you have any favorite posts from the Clue page?
I'm
gonna love to hear this one. What's your favorite?
You know what? I love all the mashups. Those are all good. Like I said earlier, it's unbelievable what you've been able to do with the 3 videos. So that's all good. Look, I just think it's funny that it's gotten the recognition that it has, and you guys have done the Lord's work. You really have. I'm not a religious man, but somehow you've managed to do the Lord's work, and it's funny. I just think it's pretty entertaining, and we'll see how much traction it gets.
Right, absolutely.
It was one of those households, and he was the responsible guy.
Yeah.
So it was really different.
Yeah, it seems like he was like top chief as far as that was concerned. That's pretty much what everybody was saying. He was running the show.
Yeah.
He was like even your manager when everything got started.
Yeah, poor guy. I put him through hell.
Oh, that's funny. Awesome.
Oh,
so we're gonna open up the show.
Yeah, we still haven't even started recording. So
yeah.
we're gonna do a little bit of follow up from the last one and mention a few things that have happened since then.
Okay.
And then pretty much we'll say, so yeah, welcome Darin Minasian of the Clue, and we'll kind of give you like a little clap, and then that's pretty much when you'll be on. So
yeah, we're gonna keep your mic down until then.
Sounds good.
But you'll be able to hear us. So
okay, cool.
Cool, man. All right.
if it was a weekend. During the week, I was just one gigantic party then. It was cocaine, it was beer, it was a party every single night. And Sergio wanted to take care of business, and it was rough on him. He always wanted the best. And I mean, there were some nights that he would show up for practice, and I would have been drinking and drugging from early in the day right after work, and I would come to practice just pretty much falling down. So.
Now, how long has it been since you two spoke?
Oh my God,
man! 20
I left
20 years?
I left like late '88, and it's been since late '88, since Hot Box.
Yeah.
That was 29 years ago.
It's,
That's the year I was born.
For some perspective,
Right, for some perspective, yes.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's and without this kind of thing that's been happening, I don't know if I would have reconnected with. Kevin is. I saw him more recently, even before this thing went down. Tony, that used to play in Hotbox, saw him as well. But I'm glad to have an opportunity to kind of reconnect with you, Darin. I'd love to.
Yeah, no.
Connect.
Are you living in the Southgate still?
What's that?
Are you still living like in the Southgate area?
No. I moved from there many years ago. So I lived out in like the Hollywood area for a while. Then I moved out to like the mid Wilshire area. Now I'm out in the valley. So I'm in Sherman Oaks.
Wow.
But and I've got 3 kids that are at the age that we were when we first met. So my oldest is 22, and he's doing some crazy things in art and music and fashion. He's an interesting kid doing things, and same with my 2 other daughters. So they're all no longer little babies. But you have a son as well, right?
You remember when Zach used to come in the garage when we were playing? He's 30 now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my
God.
Man. That's crazy. Yeah.
It is crazy.
Look, it was some crazy times. I remember the days where we would go to rehearsal and it would end up being one big party. It'd be like
every night.
50 people in the space that we used to rehearse in with the nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide. Oh my God! Remember Jared worked at that place that manufactured nitrous oxide, and he would call us. I got a tube outside. Go get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah. But
a lot of brain
it was
cells
one big party. It was a crazy-ass party, and there's nights where I don't know how I got home from the gigs. But one night that I woke up in the Silver Moon Motel, and don't know how I got there. But
how romantic!
I woke up alone, and my car was like in the parking lot, and the bill was paid. I have no idea how I got there. But it was after a show that we did. The hotel was like this really seedy hotel on Harbor Boulevard. So over by Disneyland, there used to be all of these really seedy hotels with a lot of like hookers and everything.
Oh yeah,
those hotels had been there.
It's like oh yeah.
And I ended up in one of those one night. We had a show in that area, and I don't remember how I got there, but it was some crazy shit.
Hey, Darin, that just made me think of something. We were looking through your Facebook, and there's a couple pictures of you dressed in drag. I guess you could say. Was that like Halloween, or is that something you're into on the weekends?
Halloween at work. I was Marilyn Monroe one year and a cheerleader one year.
Oh man, yeah, that Marilyn Monroe one really caught me off guard. I was like, oh my.
I was like, wow. and then I saw the one in the Packers one, and I was like, wow. I was like, if I see one more in here, I'm gonna.
Yeah, we're starting to get suspicious.
There's 3 in there.
Oh, no.
Oh, nice.
We missed one.
Halloween, I do drag night.
Whoa. We just had a major sound audio
I
thing
heard
there.
that.
Yeah,
Do you guys heard that one?
Yeah.
that's crazy. Well,
Crackling's gone now.
what's that?
Barely.
It comes and goes.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate because there's 4 lines that go into this board, but
Kevin's been trying to get on the 3rd line, but for some reason it's not showing up.
it's just not connecting. I don't know why.
Oh, that's too bad.
If nothing else comes out of this, even though I think something will at this point, at least we have the satisfaction of knowing that we got you guys back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome
Yeah.
too. Well, if you want, we'll get Kevin on here for a second too, if you want, Darin. Then
Then we'll close it up.
yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
And guys, I actually have Rob's phone number.
Oh,
I
my
got
goodness,
it,
really?
This week.
Do you?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, what is Rob's problem? Where's he at?
Well, at first when his sister found out about it, she kind of, we had a little bit of contact with her, and she was not warm to it because of all the bashing and whatnot. But like we mentioned, he's kind of, from what we've heard, he's kind of come around a little bit to it. So if Sergio, if you reach out to him, I think that'd be huge, and I don't see why he wouldn't be willing to spend a little time with us too.
Tell him
Yeah, I'll do that this weekend.
What's that?
I'll do that this weekend and
Cool.
See if he's up for it. I'll let you guys know what he says.
Awesome.
Ah.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, because we just announced. Well, Darin says he's down for the reunion. He said in a heartbeat. So him and Jared are the last 2 that we
Yeah.
got to get on board.
Rob and Jared are the last 2 holdouts here.
But we just got confirmation a couple of days ago. He didn't want to do it at first, but Mock said he was going to do an interview with us, so he's going to be our next guest in here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I remember the first day Mock walked into rehearsal with Jared and I. And so that name came out because of his British accent.
Right, because his name's Mark,
Jared
and he
used to
says it
always
like
make
Mark.
Yeah. Jared used to make fun of the way he spoke. And, he would always call it Mark.
That's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
Sergio, thanks so much for calling us again. We love hearing from you.
Anytime, guys.
Sweet.
Well, let's see where this
Let me
goes,
know.
guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's going somewhere.
All right. All right, I better get
Darren.
flying too. I got a girl waiting on me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got to play her the clue.
Got the game of love. It's risky.
I'm going to go play the game of love for a little while.
Don't lose.
Psychopathic.
All
Awesome.
right, guys.
Awesome,
Darren,
fellas.
I'll hit you up on. I'll message you, man, and we'll figure out when we can hook up.
Kick
Yeah,
ass.
all right. And we'll see how the
All right.
thing with Jared plays out. We'll see what happens.
Cool, man.
All right,
Awesome.
man.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys all later.
Sounds good. You
All
guys have a great
All right,
night.
man. Take care.
You too.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Did you just kill it?
Wow.
Oh,
Yep.
no, you just killed the calls.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks with Sergio's sound, but it was only when you had Sergio on the line, and also I was hoping there with Kevin and
I
Darin.
know.
I feel super awkward. I was kind of shy.